everyone, welcome back to Drawn by Annie channel. This is me, Annie, and I will be drawing for you today. Grab your tea, coffee and snacks and let's dive into today's video. Today I'm going to work on a very soft and spring themed artwork. It's featuring my OC Ginger, who is like a cyborg girl, but instead of drawing her in her normal outfits, I decided to draw her in an Eastern bunny outfit with a lot of flowers and pastel colors and spring vibes and tulips, everything that reminds us that spring is coming and soon the weather will be warm and summer will come afterwards and we will die from heat. At least where I am currently located, it's going to be hella hot very soon, so yeah. But anyway, back to the drawing topic. For today's artwork, I'm going to use my mixed medium sketchbook paper. I already prepared the page from the sketchbook itself, and I'm not going to use the whole sketchbook because it's very thick. It's not comfortable to draw inside, so I just ripped off one of the pages. I'm doing my sketch with colored erasable pencils. Firstly, I'm going to sketch out Ginger herself. I need to figure out the pose and kind of compositions for her outfit elements, and then afterwards I'm going to add the background, and I decided to make this bouquet of flowers that is blooming behind her. I have a clear idea what I want it to look like, so that's what I'm going to do. For the coloring, I'm thinking to use alcohol-based markers and some fine liners for the line art. Maybe I will use some of the acrylic paint pen, but I'm not sure yet. I will decide it in the process. But for the background, I'm not gonna put any line art with fine liners just to make it a little more faded. I'm just going to outline it with my colored pencils, maybe give some little texture with shading with colored pencils after I already put the main color with alcohol-based markers. At least that's the plan. I don't know, maybe I will change it in the process. So the character, as I mentioned before, is my original character. Her name is Ginger and she is a cyber girl. I made this character when I was in my cyber era, I guess. Like, I'm really into the sci-fi and alien and space travel and everything like that, and I love tech fantasy, if that makes sense. That's why one of my favorite tabletop roleplay gaming settings is also like a cyber future setting. It's like a it's a cyberpunk or Shadowrun. These are, to me, the most popular ones nowadays. I made this character when I was in this phase, like a big interest, and I wanted to make a character to represent me, but I didn't really have any background. I just wanted like to have a cyber girl character. That's kind of it. And then later on, after the design and some exploration, I decided to give her some abilities. In her case, not magical abilities, but like tech, or explain how she works. She is like an alien robot that comes from another planet that is also full of robots, and it's like inhabited by AIs that are living in robot body. But she wanted to study Earth and humans, and she was really excited to find out about fashion and clothing. So her expertise is to study human fashion, basically. But one of her also most big interests is baking and like trying out dessert, and for this purpose she has like functioning taste buds in her mouth that are mimicking human taste buds. I mean, she doesn't need eating because she is a cyborg, but her body is a mechanical body that is covered in a skin that mimics like a real skin, but underneath there is like not real joints, of course, like a mechanical joints, like this kind of joints that action figures have. And she also also is equipped with nanobots in her body. They have like ability to change Ginger's clothing and outfits, and they can also change density and also color of the clothing. So whenever she wants to, she can completely change her appearance and the outfit that she is wearing, because it's basically part of her body. But there is like a fighting protocol in her body. She mostly uses this in case of any danger or like cataclysm or like a sudden attack, because she's coming from another planet. That means there are other planets not as friendly as their planet is. They're like trying to explore and know, you know, like this kind of AI. They are like developing on knowledge about the universe and everybody that lives in this universe. But other nations and other aliens don't necessarily want to know more about you, but they want to have power over you, so they would just try and conquer your planet or something like that. So yeah, Ginger is completely equipped in case of an attack, because she comes from a planet that can defend themselves. So yeah, there's actually a whole story behind Ginger creation, as for the reasons why I decided to make her the way she is, but I will probably tell you about her more in my next video. So stay tuned for when I make an art or maybe a showcase of her proper outfit, like the original one, and maybe some special abilities, I don't know. But I'm thinking to make her into my avatar or like persona character, and I'm not sure which one to choose, Ginger or Sylvia, the one that's in the blue dress. So yeah, maybe later on I will make an art and concept art and proper introduction for both of them, and maybe you can help me choose which one's the best. I want to be a PNG tuber if I get to, because yeah, 3D models probably too much of a trouble, and I don't want to learn rigging just for the purpose to make my own avatar. Or I could maybe commission someone later if I really want to, but there is no plan to do so as for right now. Maybe later, because I'm broke. I barely have some money for the upgrade for the channel. So yeah, maybe help me become rich and buy myself a 3D rigged avatar. Please donate to the broke artist that I am. For the longest time, I really didn't have any clear idea to how my artwork should look like, but for this Easter art, I actually had an idea pop into my head really quickly and out of nowhere, but it took me a while to find some references and do like a proper mood board. And I also sketched out several thumbnails for the poses. I tried different compositions and different outfits and hairstyles also, and I ended up choosing 2 ponytails and an apron dress. And I also wanted to feature little basket full of colored eggs, because this reminds me of my childhood when I was coloring eggs with my family before Easter. It was lots of fun. My mother used to use this very old recipe of coloring eggs with onion shells. You're basically just scraping off onion shells, like the ones that are dry, from white or from purple onions. Then you just put your eggs with these shells into a boiling water and you boil them, and then you let them sit inside the water, and the pigment from the shells will actually nicely cover and color the eggshell, and it looks very nice. If you haven't tried to color your eggs with this option, I really think you must try, because that looks very nice and the color is very bright. Adds like an orthodox way of coloring egg. My family comes from an Orthodox Christian family, so we had some traditions from when I was a very small kid, and my mother also was doing these nice Easter breads in different sizes, from cupcake to like a whole large bread. That's called kulich, and it's literally like a sweet tasting bread with some raisins inside of it. Sometimes there's no raisins. It actually depends on the recipe, but that's a very tasty bread, and it's also decorated with egg whites frosting, and then you also sprinkle some colored sprinkles on top of it, and it looks very, very pretty. I'll probably draw one of these if I have time, because just thinking about this tasty sweet Coolidge bread makes my mouth watery. So as soon as I'm done with the sketch, I am going to land the base colors for the Ginger herself and the background. But for this particular art, I decided to start with background coloring first, because it would be easier for me to see where the Ginger parts are finishing, let's say. So I would not accidentally put the wrong color on the wrong place. And afterwards, I'm just going to outline anything that doesn't look right, I guess. That's how I usually do more complicated arts like this one. I rarely do any background at all. Like my art guilt, I don't know how to call it, but like I'm guilty of drawing characters floating in this, I don't know, empty space. All my drawings, they look unfinished because there's just this character and nothing around them. I really need to start implementing some sort of background, at least either abstract or just color filling or something like that, because for the longest time I was just practicing how the characters would look like, mostly in anime style. But the more I draw, the more styles I want to explore and find something that fits me, I guess, because anime is nice, but I think it looks a little bit too boring to me now that I have learned how to draw it, more or less. There are still some parts that I struggle with, to be honest, and I need to practice them more, like hands or feet or shoes, for example. I rarely draw like a detailed shoes or anything like that. Generally speaking, I think I've mastered the anime style because it's pretty simple and I can build it from the imagination, any character that I like. I wanted to develop something that's more unique to me, I guess. So I started exploring other styles, more cartoonish, more fantasy-ish, and more semi-realistic, I guess. So I like to have these more detailed eyes and faces and noses and mouths, and that really affects how the character feels like and, you know, has this vibe, I guess. But for Ginger, only exclusively for Ginger, I decided to keep like the most simple style that I have for drawing anime characters. So I don't tend to draw detailed noses for her when I'm doing art for her, and mouths, they're just, you know, simplest anime mouth and noses. But for the eyes, she has like a not a typical anime eye, because she's a cyborg. She actually has like two lenses instead of eyes, so they have these little details inside. So if I make a close-up drawing of Ginger's eye, you will see how she's like having a lens instead of pupil that is glowing with yellow and orange colors. But mostly for my other characters, I'm trying to add some more details to their faces, and I really enjoy exploring how different it may look. I recently have done like a style exploration on one of my sketchbook pages. I drew Ginger in several different styles for the faces. She has different features on her face, like different mouth or different nose, or more detailed skin around her eyes, or like, you know, maybe later on I will show it. But still, I feel like this anime style fits her as a character most. Maybe because I created her in this style before I was actually trying to explore more different styles. And I cannot just look at her in different styles, or like, I mean, fan arts are always nice. I love fan arts of my characters, but the way that I draw her, I usually pick one certain style and I try to stick to it, because I kind of want her to have one concrete vibe, I guess. And since she's this bubbly type of character that is caring and very curious, I think anime face style fits her the most. For those of you who are also having like an OCs and who are the artists, I guess you get me, because if you're making a character, you usually try to stick to its consistent look. So that's what I'm trying to do here as well with Ginger. And my future plan is to make several sprites for her if I'm going to choose her as my BNG tuber persona. I'm going to make like mostly the same sprite, but with just a little bit of difference in gestures, maybe hand position and like, you know, face expression and everything. I really need to be consistent with this because I don't want her to look too much different from herself on the other sprite, and also keep some of the parts of her original outfit so the character still is recognizable. I mean, outfit can change, hairstyle can change, and also hair color can change because of the way that her body functions. I already explained that before, the nanorobot stuff. So yeah, but the face features I would like to keep the same from art to art, just to make her recognizable in any of them. As soon as I'm finished with blending the colors and basic shading, I am going to put everything together with the line art, but I'm only putting line art on Ginger and her outfit and everything that's connecting to her. And I'm keeping the line art with fine liners only for her, so that will naturally stick her out of the background because it's kind of detailed one because of the petals and, you know, the little stripes on the tulips and little green leaves around them as well kind of adds to the composition more details. So I want to keep it not too much overwhelming, so I'm just putting the line art around the Ginger character and her dress, and that's going to naturally accent her as a character in front and keep the tulips a little bit faded, and that's exactly what I'm looking for in this art. I would not do that if I wanted my character to be like very much blended with the environment, for example with like, I don't know, a room or maybe a scene or maybe an urban view or like a nature view, anything like that. I would rather do same techniques on everything, character and the background. But here it's like this, you know, print style artwork that you don't really need to blend everything in one big scene. So that's exactly why I'm choosing this exact technique over any other. Hope that makes sense. So as soon as I'm done with doing this line art on the Ginger part, I'm going to use my colored pencils to add the shading on the tulips. I want them to be more orangey, and that's why I'm gonna just put a little bit of shading around Ginger character as if she was casting a shadow on them. By the way, did I ever mention that before having alcohol-based markers in my collection, I actually drew mostly with pencils? I kind of miss drawing with pencils because since I got these markers into my collection, I just never got back to them because markers are just so much easier to fill in with colors and they look way less patchy, or like I have to put much less effort to make a whole big section of the drawing colored than if I would color the same section with colored pencils. I don't know, it's just so easy. It's almost like digital art. Like a single click and everything's colored, but still a little more effort than digital art, I guess, and has a lot of nice texturing and noises of scribbling marker on the paper. It's also nice. But when I'm coloring with pencils, I'm also enjoying these relaxing noises of, you know. But yeah, I haven't drawn with pencils much recently, for the past few months actually, or maybe even years. So maybe I'll try and fix this, not a mistake, but like fix this situation and put more pencils in my artwork, maybe on top of the marker coloring, because they blend in nicely with markers, to be honest. Like, I tried to put them on top of acrylic paint pens. Also works, but it doesn't give me the right feeling, if that makes sense. But with alcohol-based markers, just perfect combination with marker solid color and pencils giving this little soft texture on top. So if you haven't tried mixing these two mediums, I strongly suggest you to try, because it's very, very satisfying, especially if you practice a lot both of these mediums. They work very good together. And this combination can give many different results, also depending on the paper that you're using. So if you're using glossy paper, it's a one result. If you're using textured paper, for example, like for a watercolor paper, it's completely different, and it's much more textury and soft, and I don't know, it's just nice to try different combinations of mediums and paper. And I really encourage you guys to try and mix different mediums and papers and combinations, and like layering order can also affect result like a lot. The possibilities are endless, truly. And the more you try, the more you develop, and the more you know tools that will give you different results. And you can also aim for different results with these tools, and you can be more confident in your skill as well, and your style will be very variable, so you can fit in many niches, or create your own style or create your own niche. That's a very big possibility as well. Like, I'm not hesitating to use different styles for different characters just because they give different vibes. So I think that's enough for a reason to do that. And that's also brings a lot of fun. That's the most important reason, to be honest, because if you're not having fun, why do it? Okay, I'm going to leave you for a while with music on while I work on the rest of the piece. Annie off, music on.
always on my mind. I could be alone, but you're never far from sight. As far as we go, and through the darkest night, I hope it brings you peace of mind. I know we'll be alright, no matter where you go. Always on my mind. I could be alone, but you're never far from sight. As far as we go, through the darkest night, I hope it brings you peace of mind. I know we'll be alright. You can find me alone in this cold place, no face, enslaved to this place inside. Live the mystery I solve like a cold case, in part ways, disgraced by a state of mind. Drinking strange water, leave a sour taste. Been looking for my soul in the haze prime. Getting kinda dull to this heartbreak as my heart shakes like the waves in a baseline. Boom. The good girl goes too soon, straight by the light of the moon. And it gets better, paths also change like the weather. Feel like a song you can't remember. See you in December snow, 'cause I know you'll be coming home soon after you'll be gone. And no matter where you go, always on my mind. And I could be alone, but you're never far from sight. As far as we go, through the darkest night, I hope it brings you peace of mind. I know we'll be alright, no matter where you go. You're always on my mind. And I could be alone, but you're never far from sight. As far as we go, through the darkest night, I hope it brings you peace of mind. I know we'll be alright now. Been trying to delay what the days take. Find myself
So yeah, here is my finished drawing. This is one of the drawings that I'm really happy with, every part of it. I love it, and I love the color palette that came out. I didn't really expect this pink to work that well with yellows and greens, but it looks certainly very nice and fits the character for sure. I hope you like it as well, and please leave your thoughts in the comments. I would love to hear what you think about it. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to see more of my work, consider subscribing on this channel. Don't forget to wash your cup, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye bye! P.S. Happy Easter, everyone!